maybe Eve, could you talk a little bit about the mentoring aspect and how that's helped you? I mean, let's just face it, you and Kelly are in sports. There aren't many females who are in sports, in the front office of teams, leagues, at ESPN. It's not easy. So you need help.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm happy to say that each job I've had in sports, including my current one, has come from someone I know. And it wasn't, none of them were posted. Well, I take that back. The LPGA job was posted, but I didn't find out about it that way. They're simply crucial. And I have folks that I call mentors who have been there since my collegiate career with me until now. I still talk to them on a regular basis, that have been crucial in my life. But I also want to emphasize that I think you can learn things from people who are not technically your mentors. I think everyone has something to offer you in terms of shortening your learning curve and that you can use. Sometimes it's something that you want to use, and sometimes it's information that you say, yeah, I don't need to take that road. But everybody has something. In terms of my own personal story and my career track, I started with my mentors in college, really, in a winter term. In the month of January, you could do different stuff and try different things. And so I started with them, and they started their own firm. And I went to work for them with the subsequent summer. And I went on to law school, did separate projects for them, but also did other internships because they said, look, you got to meet other people besides us. We love you, but you got to meet some other people. So I still kind of worked for them a little bit and then worked for other folks. So by the time I got out of law school, they had disbanded the firm. One was a president of a record label. The other one was a general counsel at a different record label. I'm like, who's hiring me, right? They said, neither one of us. And I was crushed because I said, well, what do you mean? I don't understand. They said, you got to figure out how to be a real lawyer, and you can't do that working for us. Go to a law firm. I did go to a law firm. I spent some time there, about 3 years there, and one of them called me, said, I saw something that might be a good match for your skill set. I want you to call on it. He didn't know anybody, but it was in golf. I was there a month later. Fast forward 6 years, I'd met Joe in the process of that, because he was at the Jags when I was in golf. And another person that, I don't think you met her there, Raquel, but who was the general counsel. We met at the same meeting I met Joe at. We just kept in contact. There were 3, maybe 4 women in the room. I actually was the only black woman in golf at the time. There, like Lynn is in golf now, but there were nobody else that looked like me. Fast forward from someone I met 5 years previous to that, when I was ready to looking around, kind of leaving the golf. I said, I'm ready for something new. I called a few people. One of them was a woman that I had met and kept in contact with, who happened to be general counsel at the Miami Heat. I said, I'm looking around, keep your eyes open for me. And she said, I need help. What do you think about coming to work with me? I went down to meet the executive team. I was hired. Fast forward, and I just left them in December, kind of looking around. My life circumstances had changed. My husband and I had had a baby, and we were commuting back and forth and that sort of thing. And actually, I was thinking about just taking a few months off, and was talking to a colleague of mine I sit on a board with. He runs Audrey Agassi's and Steffi Graf's Holdings. I said, hey, I'm thinking about taking a little time, think about some things. He said, no, I want you to meet these guys that used to work for me at Nike. I ended up meeting them, and now I work with them in a marketing position. I'm senior vice president of sports marketing for a media company. So you just never know, really, to build on what everyone else has said. Mentors are super important. Those are the folks that are there to kind of shape and mold and, bounce ideas off of. Should I be doing this? What do you think about that? Or what have you. But really cultivate and nurture those other relationships that you have with other people. You may not be able to reap benefits now, and that's okay. I agree totally with Joe. You shouldn't go into it looking for that, but you never know what that might be able to yield for you. I mean, even my relationship with Q was one of my biggest supporters. Actually, he called me about, I think you need to be in the running for this SBJ 40 under 40 thing. They haven't had any other women, and you should do it. And so I've said, yeah, I had my eye on it, but I didn't think I was ready, and all these other things. And he was like, no, we're going to do it, and let's set out a plan, and really, I'm going to call them and all that sort of thing. And that sort of support, that sort of insight, that sort of kind of really nurturing and shuttling you along is invaluable.
And Kelly, I think, mentioned how important relationships are, even when you don't know that you're building a relationship, because it might provide you with opportunity in the future, and I know Steve mentioned that too. I met Eve with Ted 10 years ago or something like that, and I got to know her, and I got a call from that general counsel in Miami. I never told you this. I got a call from that general counsel in Miami because I know her, and she asked me about Eve, and I said, yeah.
And I didn't even tell her I knew you.
Yeah, and she called, and she already knew I knew you, and she asked me, and Eve never heard about that until just now. That
And she got the job anyway?
What was that? but she was calling around. I say that because that general counsel was calling around to people who might know Eve to find out what Eve was like. Mm-hmm. And you never know who is going to give you a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Mm-hmm. And I gave Eve a big thumbs up with other people that she was calling. But this underscores everything that we're talking about with relationships and mentorship. Build them and build them right.